The movie opens with a morning routine of a small family consisting of the husband and wife couple, Alex and Marina, and their son, Roby. Belle, the housemaid who has worked there for a long time and is practically part of the family, also lives in the house. That day was actually a special day for Roby because it was his birthday. But instead of celebrating with him, Alex and Marina seemed indifferent. They even told Belle to accompany Roby all day. Clearly disappointed, Roby ended up celebrating his birthday only with Belle. The scene then shifts to another couple's house, Truman and Patricia. They were arguing. Patricia was upset because Truman often went into debt just to buy luxury items that weren't really necessary. Truman tried to calm her down and promised he would pay off all the debts after he got the money from the project his boss had promised him. After that, Truman left for work, but when he arrived at the office, he heard the news that the project he had been hoping for had been given to someone else, and that person was Alex. Not wanting to lose, Truman took the initiative to approach his boss and invite him to dinner at his house, hoping he could take the project back. Truman finally managed to arrange the dinner, but things changed when his boss met Patricia. Captivated by Patricia's beauty, the boss said he would give the project to Truman as long as he was allowed to play with his wife. Instead of getting angry, Truman told Patricia to drink with his boss.
Oh, please have one. Your husband's...
Without suspicion, Patricia agreed. At first, the atmosphere was still normal. They were only talking about the project. But when the air started to get cold, the boss began acting inappropriately and tried to touch Patricia. Shocked and uncomfortable, Patricia immediately stood up and went to the back to find Truman. A small argument broke out. Patricia complained about Truman's boss's behavior, which had clearly crossed a line. But Truman explained that they could get the project if Patricia would comply with his boss's request for the sake of her husband's career. Patricia finally gave in and was forced to go along with it. The next day, as usual, Truman went to the office, but bad luck struck him again. The big project that his boss had previously promised was officially given to Alex. Hearing that, Truman's frustration and resentment peaked. He even tried to hit Alex with his car when he saw him leaving the office because his emotions were out of control. The following day, which happened to be Sunday, Patricia invited Truman to spend time together, but Truman refused, saying he had to go to work. However, once he arrived at the office, something unimaginable happened. Truman ended his life in his workspace. It was suspected that the mental pressure from losing the project triggered his desperate action. The news devastated Patricia. A few days after the funeral, Patricia went to her husband's office to collect the remaining documents.
Here, sit down. We're all... Since Truman's death.
Because she felt something was off about Truman's death, Patricia decided to check all the documents available. From there, Patricia learned that Truman's depression was triggered by his boss's treatment, who chose to give the project to Alex instead. After taking the important data she needed, Patricia left the office feeling angry and disappointed. She felt her husband had been treated unfairly, and the only way to calm herself was by getting revenge. Patricia finally went to Truman's boss, and without saying much, she immediately shot him in the stomach. After that, Patricia just left. A few days later, Patricia started preparing her next plan. She went to Roby's school, Alex's son. By pretending to be his aunt, Patricia asked the homeroom teacher to hand over all the information and files about Roby.
And here's an app. Looking forward to seeing Steph.
Once she got home, Patricia falsified those documents so they would look convincing as a private tutor recommendation letter. The letter finally reached Alex. After reading it, Alex immediately agreed and saw no problem with Patricia becoming Roby's private tutor. Then Marina immediately called Patricia and asked her to come to their house to start teaching her son.
Could you come by this evening? I'm meeting you, Mrs. West.
As soon as she arrived at Alex's house, Patricia introduced herself as Roby's private tutor. Roby, who was initially indifferent, suddenly went quiet when he saw Patricia's beauty. Not long after, Alex appeared and had the same reaction. He could only stare at his son's new private tutor.
This is Amanda Crestfield.
Patricia then said that her apartment was under repair, so it wasn't possible to hold the lessons there. Hearing that, Alex and Marina agreed to offer her an empty room in their house, so she could stay temporarily.
Do you think that I can't thank you enough?
What do you mean you gotta go?
The next day, after school, Roby's friends invited him to play, but Roby refused and chose to go straight home because he wanted to focus on studying. Not long after, Patricia came to pick him up. Roby's friends who saw her could only stay silent, mesmerized by her appearance.
Whoa. I don't know, man, but she is.
Once they got home, Patricia started teaching, but Roby's attention went somewhere else. Instead of focusing on the book, he kept stealing glances at Patricia's body. Patricia, who noticed, just looked at Roby with a thin smile, as if she understood what he was thinking.
You're doing good. Yeah, thanks, Bill.
I just wanted to make
After the study session ended, Patricia approached Marina, who was getting ready for dinner with Alex. The two of them quickly became close.
Dedicated for the last few days. Do you really think it's me?
However, when Marina said that she lacked confidence, Patricia secretly mixed something into Marina's drink. That night, while playing basketball, Roby deliberately threw the ball near Patricia's bedroom window. When he went to get the ball, he accidentally saw Patricia touching her own body. But the moment ended quickly when Belle came and scolded him.
so big that I stayed. Now go to your room.
After the house became quiet, Patricia entered Roby's room. She reminded him not to make noise next time when peeping, so Belle wouldn't catch him. Patricia even gave him a hint. If he wanted a clearer view, just come straight to her room. Roby, who was still emotionally unstable, immediately understood what she meant. That same night, Roby went to Patricia's room. Without saying much, Patricia immediately taught him a biology lesson. The next morning, Patricia met Alex, who was relaxing by the pool. They quickly became closer. From a distance, Marina, who saw them immediately, felt annoyed. She vented her emotions on Belle by ordering her to wash a lot of clothes. But when Belle was about to go down the stairs, she fell because of a rope that Patricia had deliberately placed there earlier. Meanwhile, Roby, who had just gotten home from school, looked for Belle in the kitchen, but what he found was Patricia, who once again invited him to play for the second time. Not long after that, Marina came home and immediately looked for Belle, her housemaid. But when she found Belle lying lifeless on the floor, Marina screamed hysterically. Panicked and scared, Marina didn't know what to do. Meanwhile, Patricia, who realized her plan was going smoothly, immediately acted like she knew nothing and pretended to be shocked too. Because she felt guilty about Belle's death, Marina's mental state slowly declined. Marina often stayed alone in her room, lost in thought and lacking spirit. Alex also became anxious because his wife was becoming more unstable. One afternoon, while Alex was playing billiards out of boredom, Patricia appeared and started approaching him. With a little provocation, Alex finally gave in and they played together, without realizing that Roby was watching everything from afar. After the activity ended, Roby immediately approached his father. Roby threatened to tell his mother about what he saw if Alex didn't comply with his wishes. Alex, who had no other choice, finally agreed to Roby's request. Since then, Roby became bolder in defying his father. Meanwhile, Patricia increasingly provoked Roby by claiming that what happened at the billiard table that night was because Alex forced her. She even said that Alex threatened to fire her if Patricia refused. Hearing that, Roby became even angrier at his father. On the other hand, Marina's guilt towards Belle continued to haunt her mind. Plus, the substance that Patricia always mixed into her drinks made Marina's mental condition even worse. Marina became more unstable, and the atmosphere in the house became full of tension. Alex, Marina, and Roby grew further apart from each other, while Patricia continued to take advantage to make the situation worse. A few months passed, and one afternoon Roby came to Patricia's room with a bright, glowing face. He shared the news that he had been accepted to one of the universities in New York. Hearing that, Patricia smiled, then invited Roby to play as a farewell before he left. After Roby left, Patricia felt her task in the house was complete. Not long after, Patricia left Alex and Marina's house. A few days after Patricia's departure, Marina's condition still hadn't improved. She started hallucinating more often and had trouble controlling her emotions. Alex, seeing his wife's condition getting worse, began to suspect that someone had deliberately destroyed their lives. That suspicion grew stronger when Alex saw an old photo of Truman with his wife, Patricia. At that moment, Alex finally realized that all the chaos that had hit his family was Patricia's doing. She wanted revenge for her husband's death. Unfortunately, Alex and Marina couldn't do anything anymore. Patricia had already left, and all the damage she left behind had already happened. At the end of the story, Alex and Marina called Roby in New York to make sure their son was doing fine. Roby answered calmly and said everything was safe. But after the call ended, the real truth was shown. Patricia was actually already with Roby in New York. Now, the two of them could play every day without anyone disturbing them. And the story ends.